Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am in the most privileged position to have somebody who runs clinical trials in Africa and in South Africa. And on this high note, I would like to welcome Mr. Tshepo Matemane, and it's a privilege to have him here with us in our virtual studio. Tshepo, if I may, welcome. And can you give us a little bit of background of who you are and what you are doing at this stage?
Thank you so much, Prof. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Tshepo Matemane. I studied my undergraduate degree in the BSc field at the University of Limpopo. So I come from Limpopo. I have also furthered my studies by studying for a BTech in pharmaceutical sciences at the NWU University of Technology. Actually, my interest when I left high school was to study pharmacy. So eventually I ended up in the pharmaceutical industry. So what I am currently doing in the industry, I'm a clinical research associate or a site monitor. And the short of it is I monitor clinical trials that are conducted across the sub-Saharan Africa region, particularly in infectious diseases. My background in undergrad, I majored in microbiology. So I have a passion and an understanding for infectious diseases such as TB, HIV, malaria, rotavirus, and so forth. What I do as a monitor, I work closely with investigators who are medical doctors who are investigating these new medications, new treatments, vaccines. I've worked extensively in vaccines as well. And my core role is to ensure that the data that is being collected is compliant with ethical standards and good clinical practices, and that the rights and well-being of the clinical trial participants are protected at all times, and that they have freely given their consent to participate.
Wow, thanks, Tshepo. That is quite a lot you had to say, and very, very interesting. We also spoke before the interview on the impact that you have in Africa, and that you travel a lot and you work a lot in Africa. Can you just give us some information on that, and where in Africa do you work and exactly what do you do?
Okay, so I work in about 6 countries at the moment. So I work in phase 3 clinical trials. So phase 3 clinical trials are the trials that are being conducted across a number of sites, a number of countries, to establish the safety and efficacy of these new treatments and vaccines in a larger population. So I currently am working in Zambia and Ghana, as well as Malawi. Obviously, it's a challenge at the moment traveling with during the COVID era. I have also had experience working with sites in Mozambique. I have worked in sites with sites in Kenia and Tanzania. And, you know, it is a very pleasant experience having to travel across this African continent to learn about the different cultures, as well as the industries that are existing within these African countries. And as a young person who is so passionate about development, it is really a great learning experience for me. And I believe the impact of my experience can really help with the, you know, Africa 2063 UN mission, you know, to have a developed Africa that is disease-free.
Yes, thanks for that. You mentioned the UN. Can you give us a little bit more information how you think that can impact on businesses in Africa?
Definitely. I think Africa currently, if you look at the population of Africa, we are a very young population as compared to the rest of the world. And obviously with young people, there are bubbling ideas, but those ideas need to be empowered. Those ideas need to be encouraged. Institutions like the business schools, political institutions, non-government institutions are really crucial in helping the youth of this continent become the future. So when we look at Africa 2063, the impact that it's going to have, it's going to be on our generation, it's going to be on the youth. So it is very important for us to take the leading role in charting the way forward, so to say, and of course with support from the more experienced people. So I believe, academics like yourself, have the responsibility to pass on that knowledge to us in order for us to lead the way forward for the next generation of Africa.
Yes, I can't agree more with you. We have to stand together and work together to make Africa better. Um, what suggestions can you make? Your experience, how can that specifically add value to the rest of Africa, Tshepo?
I believe my experience can add value in terms of, like I said, creation of industries. So, for example, I travel a lot for my work, and already that is knowledge sharing. I come from a South African perspective. I have a South African experience, and whereas I go to these other countries, I'm able to share my experience and learn from them. And in terms of industry building and industry creation in Africa, I mean, we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, but the truth of the matter is South Africa in general has been behind from all the other revolutions. So there's a very huge gap for us to catch up and be part of the fourth industrial revolution. And that's where we really need to accelerate, so to say. So I believe my experience will help. So when I travel, for example, for work, I need to have hospitality, so somebody has to be in that industry in order to accommodate professionals like ourselves who are traveling across Africa. I need ground transport. I need local cuisine. So I believe information and knowledge sharing will help us understand our common needs as a continent. And with the Africa trade area agreement, there's so much opportunity for us to trade across borders with less custom regulations that may not work best for small businesses.
Yes, yes. Um, Tshepo, a last question that I want to ask you. Is there any other initiatives that you can suggest for small businesses, business people in Africa, or any last comments that you would like to make?
Thank you, Prof. So, I would like to quote our former president, Nelson Mandela, when he said, education is the most powerful tool in which we can use to change the world. So we need to understand education not only as a formal education. Education in this age can go into just skills development. So I truly believe skill development initiatives that can be undertaken by large businesses can really help small businesses in the continent. And I'm talking about issues like mentorship. We really need mentors from the people who have been in business, who have been conducting business. We really need these people to reach out to these small businesses that are really creating new industries. So it's uncharted territory, and we all have something to learn from each other. So I really believe education remains the most relevant tool. So educational initiatives in general that big businesses can undertake to assist these small businesses across the African continent. I believe that will really help the 2063 vision of the African Union.
Tshepo, that was very interesting information that you have given, and what struck me is the focus that you have on education and mentorship and also government regulations. So on that high note, I want to thank you for availing yourself for this interview. I think it was extremely informative and educational for me as well. And I would like to wish you all the best of luck in the rest of Africa.
Thank you so much, Prof. I really need the luck traveling in this era, because I also have to do the COVID test every time I travel and before I come back. And it's not a pleasant thing to do, but you know that we need to make sure that we are not spreading the disease. Yes. So thank you so much, Prof, for the opportunity to speak about my work, because it's also a reminder for me on why am I doing what I'm doing. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tshepo.